What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Comics Grind. I'm one of your hosts, Nico Rodriguez.
And I'm Ken, aka Comic Ken on YouTube.
And thank you so much for joining us here again on another weekly comics discussion. Ken, man, how's it going? What you been up to this week, dude?
Oh man, I've been up to pretty much everything but comics, man. Like I haven't had time to draw at all. Pretty much I've just been like working on marketing, trying to figure out like what can I do in what sequence to get a certain result, and that's basically what I've been focused on throughout my entire break from my dishwashing job. Now I'm going back on actually starting tomorrow, and I just came off a shift today, so I'm just a little tired. But yeah, that's basically what I've been focusing on. Hopefully I can get some more drawing in the coming weeks.
Yeah, so you basically your break was basically consisted of R&D. Let's just call it
Right.
that. Research and development.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what's R&D, bro?
Yeah, because but I mean that's good though. I think I'm pretty much on like the opposite spectrum of that because I haven't really been trying to like fine tune my marketing abilities or really kind of research or anything into that. I've kind of just been head down to the drawing board. I think as of this episode, I think it was a couple weeks ago or something, or maybe it was the last week's episode that I kind of mentioned that I finished like the inking stage of my book.
Yeah, I saw that online. Yeah.
So now it's been all about painting. So I've
Yep.
got a good amount of pages painted last week, and now I'm kind of in like this flashback portion of the book. So it's like about 16 to 20 pages of like, what happened in the past. So I'm just using like a very simple watercoloring palette for that. So like
Right.
those are gonna go by real smooth. Because I'm just kind of using like some gray wash and some red tones for like the next 16 to 20 pages. Um, so I'm happy about that because I don't have to like keep going back and forth to like my color wheel and like selecting things. It's kind of just I lay out about 5 pages and just like go with the gray tones, come back with some red tones and stuff, and then put some shading and stuff on it. But it's
Nice.
been good though. I'm trying to plug away, man. It's I know I still have a good bit of a hill to climb because even after the painting and stuff, I still have to like do some design work. Since it's a graphic novel, I'm gonna have to do like some chapter break pages, stuff like that,
Right.
and just kind of format everything. But
Are you designing the chapter break pages?
yeah. I've kind of started doing that a little bit, like in the in like the floppy that I've printed, I kind of have like a chapter one page, kind of title page, kind of
Right.
more simple. But for the collected version, I've kind of already been thinking about some different kind of um, stylized chapter break pages and kind of make
Hmm.
them each one like they're different kind of each one they're different distinct, not really style, but situation or concept. Like one, I'm kind of thinking about like a postcard type of design. One is going to be like kind of like a mug shot type of thing. Um, but yeah, just trying to think of interesting ways to kind of put those little flourishes on the end of the project, just to kind of you know. I think I mentioned in the last episode, like this project and this book is like an entire vision, right? So I want to
Right.
make even like the chapter break pages contribute to that vision. So yeah, it's fun though. I'm having, I think it counts for something. Like I've been doing this project for like over a year now, and I'm still not tired of it. So I think
Nice.
that's a good sign.
Yeah, I'd really like to get back to drawing because I'm definitely tired of the marketing end of it.
Yeah, man. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know. It's just I think it's just good. Like I took the opportunity for this like free time to figure out a lot of stuff that I didn't know about, and so I think that once we communicate together, we can like share ideas, and I could just share what I learned throughout this whole time, and share with our viewers as well what I was able to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Speaking of that, I heard you had a viral sensation go off in your social media realm
What do you guys
recently.
say it like that?
It was a viral sensation, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I did a few views on on a recent video. Um, so I made this video about One Piece, about this event that actually happened in the story that came out in the anime, and um, I don't know. I just put out a video on my genuine thoughts about what I was thinking about that episode, and on YouTube, I put it out on YouTube Shorts. It did like 2,000 views in one day. And then the larger video on my YouTube channel did like 3,000 views in one day. And then after that, I noticed the views on Instagram and Facebook were climbing. And before the end of the week, it did 1 million views on Facebook. And then it did
Oh,
like 35,000 views on Instagram. I'd never seen anything like it before, and I was just like, wow.
yeah.
And it did nothing on Twitter. I don't know why Twitter
Twitter,
is.
I don't understand Twitter. I still cannot figure that platform out.
Yeah, it's like in flux right now. It's changing to X, and people are either leaving or staying. It's different right now. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I was able to do a lot of views on Facebook and Instagram, and so I was like, okay, maybe I got lucky. Maybe I caught a wave because everyone was like looking for Gear 5 content. Basically, that's the name of the form of the main character in that episode. That's why it was such a special event. Um, so when I made that video, I caught a wave. Like I submitted it early. Um, and then people just started watching from there. And it was short, so people didn't have to invest a lot of time into checking it out. And so I was like, okay, if I did it once, maybe I can do it again. Let me try to ride that wave of attention I'm currently getting and see if I can put out another video of the same content or something similar so that it continues the idea while the episodes of the Gear 5 event are still occurring so that I can like grab some more readers, grab some more attention towards my own work. And so I made another video. Um, and I spent maybe 4 days doing the entire going from beginning of the process to the end.
Wow.
And I wrote the script, I shot the episode, I put it in my editor, found the music, found the clips, the pictures, everything that needed to go in order to make it a great edit. And it took me sometimes a full day just to get the get one half of the video finished, and then another day to get the final edits done. I edited it down from 13 minutes to a sharp 3 minute video, and then I cut it in half for Facebook and Instagram Reels, and then cut it again down to 1 minute for YouTube Shorts. And so I'm looking at the results now. This is the first day I posted it. I posted it this morning since today is Sunday. It's not Thursday. Um, and there's literally no, almost zero interaction or engagement. The algorithm's not pushing it out. Nobody's seeing it, and it was complete flop pretty much compared to what I did last time. And I was trying to see like, okay, well, what's the difference between what I did before and what I'm doing now? Because what I did before, I caught a wave, and I thought the wave would continue because the event is still going on in the show today. I just uploaded one day later than what I did last week. So I was
Hmm.
like, okay, what changed here? And I was at work pretty much the entire day. I uploaded it in the morning, and then I was at work until 5, and now I'm looking at it. The results are pretty much nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that, like, you know, I've experienced before, like with reels, it'll like take a day, and then like sometimes after a day, like things will start going off. I've seen that happen like once or twice before. Um, so I wouldn't give out hope quite yet, but that's interesting though, because with that with that first video that you did it like right after the episode or right before the episode?
I did it the day the episode came out, so it might have been before the episode came out.
Mm, okay. Yeah, no, it's kind of so as far as like your processing, um, because I feel like the second video you put even more attention into detail on it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually edited a lot more than last time, and the script ended up being longer than I anticipated. I don't know how to write to make it 1 minute long on purpose. So I just wrote to include all the ideas and thoughts that I had about the episode. But then when I put it in the editing bay, I was just like, oh man, I didn't realize how much actual footage that I would need to get for like B-roll and uh like editing and music and all that stuff. I didn't know how much I would actually need to put in there. And
Yeah.
yeah, it ended up being more than I expected. I thought, okay, it would just take a couple hours. But no, I was moving literally as fast as I possibly could in terms of editing the video and trying to get it out there. But even moving at light speeds, I couldn't move fast enough for it to for me to finish it in less than a day. Like I thought it would just be a couple hours, but no, it took me like 2 full days of editing before I even had something resembling like a video I can put out there.
Yeah.
And I was rushing to get it done before the end of the week so I could capitalize on that moment of virality pretty much.
Mhm. So, like, with all that said, you put all your time into it, you're hoping, um, to get incredible engagement on that second one, just like you did with the first one, which is, I mean, totally nothing I mean, dude, 1 million views on, you said that was on Facebook, and then 30,000 on Instagram, like, that's
Yeah.
insane. I mean, for me, I think the highest thing that I've had views on real wise was maybe 4 to 5,000 views, and I
Oh,
thought, I
that's
was like,
nice.
man, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how it works, like, because sometimes, like, it's usually like the things that get the most, the most traction are like the time lapse videos of me drawing or something. And it's like sometimes like the piece that I think is the best, does the worst. And then like the piece that I don't think is as good as the others, like those are the ones that just kind of go off. I don't know. I don't understand it. But like with that said, do you think all the time and effort that you put into those videos, do you think it was ultimately worth it for like Ken as a brand, Ken as a comics business, or do you think it just served the moment because it was such like a hot trending thing, and it gave those people's like the people that watched it gave them their 15 seconds of gratification? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think I have a really interesting answer to that question. But I'd also like you to share the screen so I
Yeah.
could show like
Yeah.
um people what I'm talking about here. So on YouTube, the so first on shorts, it did like this was the first one that I put out there. That one did like 2.2K views. This is the second video I put out this morning at
Mm,
9, and that's the views on that. Um
wow.
yeah, it's crazy. So and most of the 2K views that came in the first day that I posted it. It was
Wow.
last Saturday.
Yeah.
And so this one is just from today. So it's not
I mean,
getting pushed out.
I will say posting on Sunday probably a factor in that. Probably not as significant, as 2000 compared to 3. But I do feel like Sunday is people aren't as attuned and aren't as tuned in to social media, but that's
I
just
don't
my
even know.
guess. Yeah, it's just a guess. It's not a truthful thing. It's just what I would think.
Right, because I would think that people would be more into social media on Sunday because it's just it's another free day like Saturday. But this is the basically the same video uh that got 3K views, and then this one, most recent one, did like 16 views today. And then on Instagram, see, this one's still growing because it used to be 25,000 a couple days ago, and
Yeah,
now it's up to 41.7K. That's crazy.
and
That's
that was from the first video, right?
Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
And then this one is up to 148. So Reels do better on Instagram and Facebook rather than YouTube Shorts, depending on when you put them out. I actually really don't know the algorithm or how it works, but
Mhm.
maybe it'll make more over time. But it's definitely not as viral as this one.
Right.
So that's 1.1 million views. This one did, and like
Wow.
so many likes and all that stuff. A lot of negative, what do you call it? Negative comments for
On like
literally,
on your video or just like
yeah,
about the show?
yeah, like hate comments and whatnot. And I didn't even say anything wrong on there, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
But people always find a reason to like hate something, you know what I mean?
See, that's why like sometimes like, the best traction is like the things that are most divisive, that are most controversial, which like that's why it's always I'm so reluctant to like game the system because I'm like, dude, I don't want to like put stuff out just for people to like complain about it. I mean, and I
Right.
know that's not the reason you put yours out or anything, but
Yeah.
just in terms of like social media as a concept, like the most engaging things are the things that like piss people off the most, which is freaking annoying.
Yeah. So then this one did like 64. And so then I mean our little videos are doing
Yeah,
some numbers.
check out that comics grind stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's the meat and potatoes right there.
So we're getting there. But yeah. So that was basically my moment, and I was trying to capitalize on it by releasing another video.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a great point about like trying to game the system by like putting out like crazy takes and like things that people would obviously disagree with. Because I didn't even say anything on the video that could be like debunked or like really, it wasn't even a strong opinion. I was just like, hey, this is dope, pretty much pretty much. And people were like, you know what, fuck you. That's not dope. It's so weird, man.
Wow.
but um but yeah, it was interesting. And what you're saying is like, I think it had a lot more to do with what people were into. People like One Piece. It's got a lot of fans. And so it wasn't about me. And I think did that's why it did well, because it wasn't about me at all. It wasn't about Air Rider. It wasn't about my comic or anything. It was just about One Piece. And the only link to my work is just a link to the video that I did, the same video on YouTube, which has in the description section all of my comic links and all that stuff. But
Mhm. Did you
that
see did you
yeah.
see any kind of like up did you have like Air Rider link to Air Rider in there?
Yeah, there's a link to Air Rider in
So like with
the YouTube description.
with the one that was most viral, did you see any kind of upticks in engagement on Global Comics or anything?
I'm looking at it now, and no,
No. Okay.
it's like almost zero uh engagement on there.
Wow.
And you asked me if I felt like this was worth it for me as a brand or for like the Comic Ken brand and whatnot. And I felt like it was absolutely worth it for learning the steps of content creation and then putting it out there to test and see what works and what doesn't.
Hmm.
Because I tried to capitalize on the moment and then it completely flopped. It might it might get some views over time, but my goal isn't to get views. My goal isn't to be become the next big YouTuber. My goal isn't to make like viral content forever. My goal is to get enough viewers to read, to get interested in Air Rider. And I'm learning things from books like Hook Point by Brendan Kane, or he's the guy who went from 0 to 1 million followers in 30 days. That's his hook point. Like the fact that he was able to do that and make a book about it.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to hook people in with content that's related to what I like and what I can provide value for, but not necessarily related to Air Rider and what Air Rider is about. Because all these marketing books, they say don't directly promote your stuff, but add value to the customer. Give them what they're interested in. They're not necessarily interested in Air Rider. They don't know what that is. They don't know why they should care about it, but they already care about One Piece. They already care about Luffy as a character. And I made a video about that, not because I was intending to go viral, or I didn't even expect it to get those numbers. That was the only like the happy part about it. I was just like, wow, I got all these numbers. I didn't expect that at
Everybody
all.
likes me. No.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't expect those numbers at all. And I was just making a video just to talk about what I like. And what was it? The fact that it did those numbers didn't do anything for Air Rider, but it may have done something for me as a brand, because now my face is in there. Like people see who's talking. Um, and if I put out more videos like that, even if they don't do well, um, they can start gathering an audience for the things that I'm saying. And even if they don't all go viral, at least it establishes a track record of providing value in that sense, in the storytelling sense. I'm trying to talk about storytelling and the things that I like about it. That if I do make a name for myself in that way, I can just say like, "Hey guys, I'm doing a comic book. It's called Air Rider. You want to check it out?" And then maybe they'll be interested in it that way. Um, but I don't know, man.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's such a freaking mountain to climb in terms of like, and I've said it before in the podcast. I've said it in other discussions to my friends, everything. Like I always struggle with like finding that balance between, you know, doing the marketing aspect of the business and making the stuff that I want to make, because at the end of the day, like, do I want to do time lapse videos? No, not really, because
Yeah.
like, it you gotta set up a camera. You've got to make sure everything is like in the perfect orientation, or it gets turned out of the shot. You got to put some lights down so it's going to be hotter, while you're drawing.
Yep.
It's not as comfortable. But then at the same time, it's like, do reels and time lapse videos do the best? And has in terms of like, my profile and everything, when I do a time lapse video, it does the best. It's just
Mm.
plain and simple. Um, but I hate doing it. I
Yeah.
don't hate doing it, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Like I want to sit there. I want to make the books. I want to make the drawings. I want to
Right.
paint. That's what I want to do. So it's a constant struggle, but
Absolutely, man.
And especially, you know, editing videos and, making, you have to write, you're writing scripts for your videos now. You're
Yeah.
bringing in, you know, clips, you're doing all this and all that. Um, Man, like that, I like that. That's, it just takes away so much from the drawing, and it's just something that, how can we balance both of those things correctly? Is it like one video a month maybe, or is it just too moot at that point where like one video a month isn't isn't doing anything for you,
I'm thinking one high quality video a month, or a decent quality video every couple of weeks
Mhm,
about a topic that you like, that's in your niche, that would bring possible attention to what you're doing. And the reason I like, because the whole time I was editing, I was just like, I wish I was drawing, I wish I was drawing, I wish I was drawing. Like, I was editing the video, I was just like, wow, I'm pretty good at editing, but I really, really want to get better at drawing.
mhm,
And my skills are deteriorating in that area while I'm sitting here trying to edit videos so I can possibly get viewers and possible followers, so that I can eventually sell the thing that I'm trying to draw in the first place. How can I make it so that drawing the thing that I draw becomes the marketing, instead of trying to do all these videos about other things, or like
right.
put so much time and editing into those things? But the thing about it is that going through those motions, doing all that stuff, and then accidentally becoming viral, and then accidentally not being viral the next week, that taught me at least how to grab attention. Like, I did it once, so that means it's possible for me to do it again.
Right.
And if because I went through the whole process of doing that, what would I what would it take for me to do that on a consistent enough basis, so that I can gather viewers towards an eventual Kickstarter?
Mhm,
And now that I know the process from step one to the final step of uploading and waiting for viewers and engaging with people, I can do it again, but refine that process more and more over time, because I've already done it once. So even if this one didn't fail, I can do another video and make it simpler to make, and not take as long, write a whole script and spend all day editing. Um, and then give myself more time to draw, and not put out every single week, because I'm not a YouTube creator. I'm a comic artist. I don't want to, focus on that mainly.
mhm.
But then that begs the question for me, is like, what was the equivalent back then for the guys coming up, like Frank Miller or like Mike Mignola? Like, what was their equivalent of, how do I get my name out there? Like put an ad in the newspaper. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, advertisement was a big thing, but the thing with, that with, older comics creators and everything, there wasn't as much content out there.
Yeah,
There weren't as many books coming out. So it was like, okay, you've got 15 to 20 books coming out this week. It's not going to be hard for you to stand out because, you're one of 15, you're one of 20.
right.
Um, I mean, that's certainly a factor in it. The other factor is that, in the height of, comics popularity, people are going to comic shops, looking for new stuff. Like, I don't know how much of that we still have nowadays.
Right.
I'm pretty good friends with um some of the workers over at our local comic shop over here in Houston,
Uh-huh.
and you know they pretty much say that, like, hardly any, a very small percentage of their fan base, of their customer base, is coming in there looking for comics. Most of them are coming in there looking for pops, looking for action figures, looking for some
Toys.
kind of
Oh, okay.
merch,
Right.
toys. Manga is comics as well, but obviously it's not the Western comics portion of the art form. So it's
Right.
like there's just so much media out there. Of course, Frank Miller back in the day, if he put, when he was putting Dark Knight out and everything, it's kind of, it's such a huge event surrounding it, and even before that, like getting his startups in, Daredevil, and kind of making a name for him there. And in that case, it was like that was a trajectory. You would move to New York, or you would go to like the publishers in New York, show them your portfolio. If they
Mhm.
liked it, they put you on a book, and then now you've kind of, they're the sole kind of like marketing influence for your business as an artist, and
Right.
I can't even think of like 5 to 10 Marvel DC artists that are like, that main driving force for the brand, that's like, hey, so and so artist is doing a book, boom, here's all this skyrocketed popularity. There's hardly
Yeah.
anybody like that anymore. I mean,
Hardly. Yeah. I
I
would say like maybe Sean Gordon Murphy fits the bill, or
yeah, like Sean
Jorge
Gordon Murphy,
Jimenez.
Jorge Jimenez, Daniel Warren Johnson, like,
Yeah.
like these guys can still do it, but it's like, is it at the level that it was before? Like on a Frank Miller type of level? I don't think so, but that's only, just me kind of speaking out of thin air. But
I would
um,
I would say proportionately it is. Because there wasn't as much media back then. But then was Frank Miller more well known in the comic space? As a like Was he more well known? Like, was he well known in the comic space as well as the mainstream, or just mainly the comic space? Because we know him as, hey, this is a comics guy. He's like, really good in
mhm.
comics, like Alan Moore. But more people have heard of Watchmen or 300 than they have of Frank Miller or Alan Moore,
Yeah,
if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. I mean, I think the answer to your question is that, they were known as a comics creator, as a big time comics creator, and I just think comics were much bigger, and had a bigger fan base at that point. So that's why, that notoriety extended even further than it would now.
Right.
Um, but yeah, man, it's just a change. The market has changed pretty significantly, over the last 30 years.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I don't, I think, the publishers had so much bigger, a larger, you know, quote unquote chokehold on the industry. So it was like, okay, you've got a superstar. We're gonna plug that superstar and make him a superstar. So they,
Right.
that's I think that's kind of how those guys were able to get their form of mass marketed, um, you know, engagement. Um, I mean, they even have like, Rob Liefeld and his Levi's commercial and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
back then.
that stuff is wild. And we would never even think about anything like that. I mean, that's
Yeah, back when like the Image comics were like the Image comics boom and all that.
I mean, it was. I just wish that they would, and I did see it a couple times in like some DC movie ads. I think it was like for a Shazam commercial or something that I saw, where it was like, oh, here's the Shazam movie, and then at the end they're like, if you want to read more about comics, hop on to, I don't remember what it was, but go to your local comic shop or something and pick up more. I can't remember. So like that was pretty cool to see, but I don't know. I think that there's, manga is in every store. Manga is in Walmart's, manga is in Target's. Why don't we see, more Western comics in more populous places like that? I don't know.
I think because at the moment there's nothing like sexy about comics. It's like it's not out there, you know what I mean? Manga has the promise, or it has a, how would you say, it has the potential to be adapted into another form, which has the potential to be adapted into a, like it has the potential to be adapted into an animation, into an anime. And everyone loves anime because it's so visceral, it's so like impactful and emotional. It hits you right in the emotions, and it's like, okay, cool, we can adapt from the comics into an even more impactful art form. And then if it's popular enough, we could even go further and make it a video game. But with comic video games, you only see the same established characters like Spider-Man, or um not even really the rest of the superheroes. It's mostly like
Batman.
Spider-Man, yeah, Batman with the Arkham Knight video games, but those are that's after like decades of publication.
Yeah.
The only breakout that's really done the something similar has been like the stuff by what's his name? The guy who did The Walking Dead.
Robert Kirkman.
Robert Kirkman, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
The Walking Dead and Invincible. Invincible's got like games coming out and an animation out there now. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do think that what's interesting, I'm just kind of thinking about it right now.
mhm,
A lot of manga has that very similar style, so which makes it kind of, you know, more easily adaptable to like other, to shows and stuff, which is kind of interesting because I do think that there's a lot more varied stylistic um tones and more Western comics, which probably would make it a lot harder to, animate and stuff like that.
right.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just it's interesting because like whenever I was in, high school, like anime was a decently sized thing, not nothing huge, I don't think it
Right.
was it was ever really huge, other than like, Dragon Ball Z or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then like manga was like nowhere to really even be heard of within like, that young population at that point.
Yeah.
Very minimally heard of. And now it's like something crazy clicked in society where suddenly it just took over, that kind of junior high to high school and young adult. I don't know where that connection happened, but I just think it's super interesting to think about. Like, when I was in high school, it was such a minimal thing, but now it's like literally swept over, the entire like young population.
It became
It's crazy.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was always cool back then too. Because what I would, when I would watch Toonami and stuff, like it was
Mhm.
cool, but I don't know. Like I don't know what happened. I wish I could. I mean, you might know better. You're younger than I am, so you're probably more in that kind of zeitgeist of this escalated popularity behind manga and anime. Like, was there
Yeah.
a distinct show that kind of took it to the next level?
Well,
Can
think
you
about it
can you
like
think of something?
how the Marvel movies did with Iron Man.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? Like before that, comic books were like relegated to, hey, you guys got your spot in the comic shops and your little conventions, and don't come anywhere near the normal people. And you stay over there. And then Iron Man comes out with the Robert Downey Jr. and then it just bursts onto the scene, and it's just like, whoa, hey, where'd this come from? It came from a comic book, and then you can read it here, and now it's like all over the place. And San Diego Comic Con is this whole big thing with all this pop culture and media and all that. With anime, um, the first, or like, Toonami is what brought it over to America. Um, and I can't say that for sure. I'm just saying that like on Cartoon Network and Toonami. Those were like the action cartoons that really brought a lot of young men into comics or into anime, and with Sailor Moon, a lot of young women. And it was Dragon Ball Z, and then for my generation, it was Naruto. Naruto was what really like got me into anime, and because it was so, the characters were so human. They were so like they had foibles and flaws, and the main character was like an underdog, and you could really identify with him and get behind him, and it was just like, wow, I want more of this in any form that I can get it. What other shows are like that? And that made the space and the way for other shows to come out. Full Metal Alchemist was also really big in those times as well. A lot with teenage girls for some reason, and it just like blew up from there. And then the one that really solidified, the two that really solidified its place in America was I would say Attack on Titan, because it was just super dynamic and super violent, and that's what really brought people in. But then the story was so solid that people could like watch it and not feel weird. And there was not really that much fan service, and the style was pretty grounded, and people could get into it. And then My Hero Academia, which
Yeah.
was really really big when it came out,
Right.
because it was kind of like the Naruto experience for people after my generation. I didn't really get into My Hero as much as
Hmm.
I was into Naruto back then,
Yeah.
but a lot of my generation was like getting into My Hero, and the guys younger than me, and Demon Slayer as well. Like all those things, that combination of really solid work that wasn't super weird, like the most weird type of anime, but was also like had a solid story that just like, and cool designs, like really cool designs that you could put on a t-shirt and wear around, and people doing anime skits online, and then popularizing it that way, because they would play towards the tropes of anime, and people could get a laugh out of that, because like they would just be like, oh yeah, I've seen that before, the main character shouldn't be able to be that strong or whatever.
Hmm.
So all of that is what like popularized it in the West.
Yeah. I think you kind of hit the nail right on the head there with Attack on Titan and My Hero.
Yeah,
I feel like those just like launched it into overdrive.
yeah,
And
for
then from
sure.
there it was like, oh, like all these shows are coming out. Oh, the show's coming out. Cool. I want to read the book too. Boom. And it just like now it's like in this like snowball effect to like where it's just like freaking huge.
Exactly, like everyone wants to read, they want to have that experience of reading something for the first time, so they read one manga or they watch one anime, and they're like, I need another thing like this, so they go and search for other things that are similar to it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, it's certainly interesting. I mean, so I guess with that said, to kind of wrap it up a little bit here, I think, the thing that I take away from this episode is that Ken needs to make a comic about his search for marketing gold, and for it to be like this like slice of life kind of comic about Ken, where he's just like going through all these like marketing techniques and trying to crack the code. And I think that's going to popularize and shoot this podcast into the next level.
Hell no. And that's my nice way of putting it.
No, I know, I'm just kidding, man. No, but I like, kudos to you for like seriously going through all these like marketing things, and studying up on like truly how to launch Air Rider and like your art business and everything into the next level, because not everybody's going to do it. I promise you, not everybody's doing that stuff. So you're
Right.
certainly getting a leg up on everybody in terms of that. But
I'm trying, man, but I'll share as much as of my findings as I can put out there as I get more information going on.
yeah, for sure, man. We would love to hear about it. I'm sure everybody out there watching, if you're a creator out there, let us know how you like this conversation. Like, are you gonna try some of these kind of marketing tactics that Ken's going through here? And if you do, let us know your experience with it, because like I said, like we said, many times, like this podcast is for those creators out there who are really trying to make it into the comics industry, and kind of find their way to that ultimate goal of kind of doing comics full time.
Doing full time. Yeah.
Just as Ken and I are. So thank you so much for listening. Ken, where can the good people out there find you? Where can they read Air Rider?
People can read Air Rider on Global Comics, and all the links will be in the description below. But you can always find me on Twitter at @dcomichen, and then on Instagram at comichen. And I'll either go by one of those two handles on pretty much all platforms.
Awesome. And you can find me on Instagram at Nico_writes. Same thing at Twitter and on Threads if you guys are on that as well. You can follow me on my Substack at nicorodriguez.substack.com. I think in terms of the release of this video, I think this will come out before I go to GalaxyCon in Austin. I will be there from the show is September 1st through September 3rd. Going to be there, set up at a table, having my books and everything. It's going to be an awesome show because there's some amazing guests already there. Some that I'm like super huge on. So definitely come on out if you're in the area. It's going to be a fun time. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Peace.